Hey guys, today we're going to look at the PlayStation process. Here is a software I use called Audio Overload, and this reads PlayStation mini PSF files. Thankfully, Final Fantasy VII works beautifully for this. Some games do not. I can show you that in a later video. Right now we're going to keep it pretty simple. So here's my process. I have a Cubase project. I like using Cubase because it works really well with the other software I use. And I print in each channel one at a time in the Cubase, because if I play, let me just actually turn on, you see these 16 channels here? There's actually 24 for PlayStation, but this game uses mostly 16. I think some of them go up to 20. But if I play underneath the rotting pizza from Final Fantasy VII, this is a really cool theme. I can isolate the channels. It's just kick and snare, right? But where was the bass? Oh, there's some guitar. Okay, so I can separate the channels with this software. There's some strings. But the thing is, I can't rewind with it. It just plays from the top every time I hit stop. So I don't have perfect pitch. I mean, yours is pretty good, but not that good. So I have to, if I want to work with this, I have to print it into Cubase. So I have it set, if you see my process here, I make a track for my markers, and I mark where the loop starts. I just press start, simply. I'm not doing any fancy color coding like I usually do. The tempo, again, I get the tempo from TuneBat. All right, then I have, you can see it counting. I'm actually recording on a different Cubase project. I bring in the actual file here, and then I make channels. One of the tracks I did recently used 20. I haven't gotten to one that used 24 channels yet. Then I record each one in. So I'm going to do a little bit of that. Okay, now that I got all 16 channels printed in here, I can edit these. So what I'm going to do is, make sure they all are in sync, because sometimes I don't hit record at the right time. So I'll bring these over, organize them, make sure they line up with the actual track. I'll listen to the original track. So then I'll bring it into Sibelius, and then I will, label all the tracks that I have. Like, these were all strings, and I'll consolidate them. I do it in 16 tracks. But then I go through and make the score look nicer, because no one really wants to read 16 tracks, all the time. It doesn't look good on YouTube. So this is the drum set. I'll put on one staff and, mark which is which. And same with this guitar that's arpeggiating. Say like the guitar is these 4 channels here. And then the bass, it looks like, I got to listen more carefully, but it sounded like this was just doubling up some notes, but we'll figure that out. Now I'm in Sibelius, and I have Cubase and Sibelius side to side. Usually I like to do things 2 screens, but this is okay for now. And I'm starting with the hi-hat part, because when I line these up, you can see that's the first instrument that plays. I also like how we can zoom in on the waveforms. Every DAW can do that. But what's nice about having the waveform also is I can see the dynamics and how things are changing. So here's your first hi-hat line. Here the accents, you can see the accents, and I can see when it opens. Okay, so I can see that pattern actually happening here. All right, and it looks like that repeats over and over many times. So again, beautiful thing about Sibelius, just keep hitting R. So I was just starting with that. Then I think I would look here and see, it looks like we have measure 3. Here's measure 2. So we got the synth bass. So where is the synth bass? So this is the lining up I was talking about earlier. I'm going to take this, move this here, and just try to, it looks like it's 16th notes. I have it at 78.25 beats per minute. It just seems like that fits the grid better. All right, so there's the bass line. Okay, so that's lined up. And the other things I was showing, I wanted to show the audio on here. Here is the arpeggiated guitar part, because each channel is monophonic, so That's obviously wrong. It has to ascend. Okay, so we can see how Uematsu, whoever did the coding of this, I'm actually not sure. Let's trim these down. Arranged it per channel like this, from low to high. So I have to kind of guess where they hit first. Now, where do those hit in the... Turn these off. I'm not using a board. I do this with the mouse. Where's the first hit of that? Right there. Just right on the downbeat. So I have to trim these here, bring them this way, get my grid to 16ths. I'm actually going to bring this over here so it's easier to work with for a second here. So I got that on the first 16th note, got this on the second 16th note, this on the third, this on the fourth. That's what it sounds like it's doing. I could be wrong, but now we have... Oops, not with the original. Hey, it synced perfect with the original. And now I'm running an organ sound, but that's okay. We can see. And then we have this one. It's E minor 7 chord, right? And you can listen to all 4. Okay, so that's channels 8, 9, 10, 11. So when I make my score, I mean, the beaming in here isn't good. I would have to, the bracketing. So 8, 9, 10, 11, we had this on measure 4. Was it 4 or 3? Or why is measure 4? I'll have to see where that kicks in. Yeah, well, let's hear measure 3. Yeah, so it's 4. So right on measure 4. So I go on measure 4, and I do them as separate notes first. So let's do, and then we'll consolidate it. So I'll jump ahead. So let's just do just piano. Just make it a typical instrument here. It doesn't matter. So I would have this one, G, and it plays, I don't know why it's playing all different volumes. It's using a template from earlier. And then I'll have this, which are all off by an octave, I think. I think it's, let's do, not keyboard. Yeah. So I would originally write these, whatever rhythm is the most accurate, like this. And then I think what I'll wind up doing, if my hypothesis is correct, and we'll get all these, I will probably add, let me just do this right now. Actually, I don't want to, let's just do, yeah, let's do guitar, acoustic, guitar, notation. It doesn't really matter. But I would do this, and right here, channels 8 through 11. And just put in. And then write, acoustic guitar, and underneath I'll write let ring. No, not lyrics, it's an expression. Let ring. So something like that will be the process for this piece. We'll see what actually happens when I finish it up. But it looks like these channels are constantly those arpeggios. It's that simple. But then, as I mentioned earlier, we have the bass. Sorry, it's original playing. What's this one? Oh, yeah, I was looking here. Yeah, what's that? It looks like it's another bass part we have to address. And then tambourine or cymbal, probably some kind of, there's your kick and snare. So these are the percussion parts, which I have to line up. And then, so I'll just trim out all the silence. Oops, don't group them. But I would put them on their own staff somehow. And then up here, this is just that really dissonant string thing we have at the end. All layering. So again, I'll probably write them out in the 7 tracks and then bring them into one.
1 hour later.
Okay, so here is the finished product. I'm going to check it over one more time. But as you can see, I consolidated a lot of these tracks. 1 through 7 was all strings. 8 through 11 was guitar. This is weird. This second bass here, just doubling up of the legato notes. And then it changes later to, this is the right spot, this electronic cymbal sound that is in a lot of the tracks in this game. Gotta clean that up. And this dissonant part at the end is just layering and layering these strings. I put a little note here, put in the pitch so it's easy to follow, but it would look weird on separate staves for just one note. So there's just a slow crescendo and getting more and more dissonant. But here's the finished product.